Hello, everyone. Welcome to this MarketScale webinar. I'm your host, Daniel Litwin, the voice of B2B. And folks, it's an exciting one today. We're going to be talking about how MarketScale Studio can be a powerful tool for your sales team. Again, MarketScale Studio and how it can be a powerful tool for your sales team. I'm your host again, Daniel Litwin, the voice of B2B. Thanks so much for joining us today live, folks. And I'm joined today by I'm trying to think of a good name. Let's say co-conspirator. I like it. Mr. Hunter Lopayton. Hunter, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing fantastic. Daniel, thank you so much for having me on here. And I am excited for this jam-packed day. Whether you're an account executive in tech, whether you are a director of sales on the med device side, no matter what, MarketScale can really help you out. Every sales team really could be using MarketScale Studio to give them that one-up leverage. And I think today is going to be a great day, Daniel, to really dive into that and show them exactly the different areas that they can focus on using MarketScale Studio.
I couldn't agree more, good sir. I couldn't agree more. So we're going to keep this one meaty and direct, folks. So let's just jump right into it. Again, we're talking MarketScale Studio. I've got my MarketScale Studio mouse pad here right next to me, so we're fully on brand and themed.
I think I need one of those.
I know, dude. Same. I might just take this home. Don't tell anyone. So let's dispel some myths here about MarketScale Studio real quick, right? Right now, maybe a lot of folks understand MarketScale Studio as a tool for marketing teams, right? Which is very obvious. It, can create content at scale. It empowers your communities to decentralize the content creation process. And it has a lot of baked in ways to pull in third-party folks from your communities, right, into a hub of shared content creation. But it's not just for marketing teams. And we really want to emphasize that here. This is a toolkit that is fully flexible, and its purpose, its value proposition, its utility is really quite useful for almost every department of a B2B company, every team you could imagine. When we think about MarketScale Studio's purpose, it's here to engage your communities, right? It's here to turn your communities into content creators through easy to create, streamlined, community-generated content. So when you think about it from that lens, it kind of opens up every door imaginable, right? One of the best places to deploy and make use of MarketScale Studio to engage your communities is a department where community engagement is literally the lifeblood of the department. And that would be the sales team, right? MarketScale Studio is a powerful tool for the sales team. So now with Studio as part of your arsenal, you don't just have to rely on that quick call, that LinkedIn message, that typical business card exchange, which are all still useful, right? But you don't just have to rely on those typical tools to nurture a lead, generate a lead, and lock down a deal. You can actually use content creation to do all of the above and make these connections in your communities actually deeper through content. I'll pitch it over to Hunter. Any other introductory thoughts here?
Daniel, I think that was a great point. And thinking about it this way, it really is the year 2024, and we're still using cold emails that nobody reads. Sales teams are still doing, regular pitch cold calls. There is so many ways for you to get outside of the box and to be heard and to be seen. MarketScale Studio really allows you to do that in so many different ways, just as you were saying, Daniel, decentralizing your media creation, creating nice nurtures that are fun and engaging. You no longer, like I said, have to have those boring emails, those boring texts. There's so many tools out there for you to use and so many resources to use. And really, the one thing I have to say is, why aren't we using them already? So I'm excited to get into it and talk about how you can utilize MarketScale Studio to really create that fun, engaging content.
Totally agree, man. Well, y'all are in the training webinar here, which means we're going to be talking shop and really getting strategic here with, again, how you can use Studio as a tool for your sales team, and some of the ways you may not even be thinking about how decentralized and streamlined content creation can elevate the entire sales funnel and relationship that you build as a sales professional with your communities. So we've got some prepped here, and I want to kick off with brand building. Okay, brand building. This is one of the top opportunities, in my opinion, for why MarketScale Studio is such a valuable tool for your sales team. So think about it this way, right? If you had a tool that could turn each sales opportunity, each moment in the sales journey, into an engaging opportunity for thought leadership, for not only that nurture, but to elevate yourself as a salesperson by growing your reputation, growing your authority through something that implicitly communicates value, actual analysis that is tangible and strategic for your industries, why wouldn't you grab that and transform your entire sales journey, your entire sales strategy? And that's exactly what MarketScale Studio can do for you as a sales professional, is build your brand, right?
Yes,
I'll hit on this one,
100%.
and then I'd love to hear your thoughts here, Hunter. But
yeah,
really today, being a thought leader is like the strategy for success in B2B, whether you're in marketing or in HR or you're a CEO. But most importantly, if you're in sales, being a thought leader is a huge win because it builds natural interest in what you're doing, and it communicates authority in a way that a great pitch or success in your career even can't. So thoughts there on how thought leadership is so critical today for the sales ecosystem?
Daniel, it's the biggest thing that I'm seeing right now, especially in sales, because in sales, you need that one-up leverage. You want to have that brand that people see you as. And so I actually pulled up a screen here, if you guys can all see it. This is David Kemp. He's actually one of our sales leads when it comes to the healthcare vertical here at MarketScale, and he does it better than anybody. And so I really wanted to bring it up to show exactly what we mean by brand recognition and brand in creating a brand as a sales executive. So you'll see here, he has his Highway to Health podcast, where he's created a full brand around him being, that healthcare executive that also has a little bit of a country flair to it, as you can see there.
Baby.
Just like the Highway to Health podcast, he also is all over LinkedIn, whether it's sound bites, podcasts, or just creating brand awareness. It gives these salespeople a one-up to where they are seen all over and they're known. And if you talk to David Kemp, he'll tell you he gets it all the time. You're the guy from
Yeah, and what I love about what David does here with his show is that he's really gone above and beyond in terms of building a brand that kind of even extends beyond what is needed to generate sales leads, right? David here is having conversations with folks that aren't even really an immediate lead or a nurture, right? He's having conversations with key executives, thought leaders, influencers, pros that are innovating in med tech, in care strategies and delivery, because this communicates something that just being a great sales professional can't, right? When we think about quality thought leadership, it communicates authority, presence, mindfulness, and an implicit understanding that you have a pulse on what's actually most important, issues-wise, topics-wise, trends-wise, in your industry. Nothing is more valuable than those things if you are trying to present yourself as a sales professional in your industry. Yep. And it's not fake, it's not over curated, it's authentic because it's leading from you as the thought leader, and it's leading off of your cues of interest, right? Where you want to focus, the topics you want to hit on, the things that stimulate you and that put you front and center. That goes a long way to build trust in the sales journey, right?
Yeah,
And
and Daniel, I want to
yeah, go
add
ahead.
one more thing onto that as well. As you're talking about the types of people that he's able to bring onto his podcast, just from that brand recognition of Highway to Health, he brings on decision makers. He's able to bring on different thought leaders in the industry, and that makes for better than any other way a very organic referral into opening discussions. And that's how I see sales leads really taking advantage of creating a podcast and creating a brand, is they are able to have those people come on and join and hear about their industry knowledge and expertise. And it makes it for a very, very organic and easy referral from there and way to talk to them and open business.
Totally agree, man. And another point here before we jump over to another major use case, in my opinion, for sales teams is that leading with thought leadership breaks down a lot of walls in B2B. When we think about B2B, there's a lot of sort of traditional ways to do business. There's a lot of norms that we're seeing, especially post-COVID, are being broken in terms of how you communicate with your communities and the flags that you plant as a company or a professional. And in a lot of ways, we as B2B need to embrace the era of influencer marketing, where brands communicate their values, priorities, and their expertise through the voice and face of others. And while in B2C, we see a lot of that, take a more frivolous kind of appearance, right? It's like, a Stanley
TikTok.
Cup, gonna get linked up with a gym influencer. Really, the heart of it, though, is authenticity, right? And in B2B, there's opportunities to embrace this idea of influencer marketing in a way that B2C sometimes even can't. Because as an influencer in B2B, you're influencing based on your actual roots in that community and the way that you do business in that community, kind of speaking for itself, right? People today are motivated by and influenced by personalities, by personability, and all of that through a content medium, a video medium, right? So be a thought leader, get spicy, say the things no one else is saying in your industry. While it may feel like, I don't know, we're pushing the mantle a little bit, is that going to endear trust, or is that too risky as a sales team? I think quite the opposite. I think the more you can host and encourage the conversations no one else is willing to have in your industry, that's actually going to make people trust you more. They are going to see how you're putting yourself out there and leading from the front. There's no better way to inspire some trust and leadership than by doing something like that, in my opinion.
I love saying, and thank you for that, Daniel. I love saying that using MarketScale Studio, using the tools that you have in front of you, is really in order so that you can break down the walls of traditional B2B, just as you're talking about. You see it all the time in B2C, and now you have the resources to do it in B2B and break down that very traditional wall, just as I was saying earlier as well, when it comes to, those cold emails or those cold calls where you're sticking to a script. Now you have the ability to get your thought leadership out there in a more authentic way, whether it be through podcasts or sound bites or learning courses. You really have it all in order to break down that wall and that barrier. And so I brought up another sales executive that we have here at MarketScale, Ben Thomas, to show how sound bites actually can create that sense of brand loyalty, brand recognition feeling on LinkedIn even. Ben Thomas is great where he posts all the time and stays on top of mind for, specialty people within the B2B Pro AV space. And you'll see here, it's just an easy soundbite where he's talking about NAM coming up, talking about who's attending, and it makes it an easy nurture for all the attendees at that show.
Totally agree, man. Ben does it best. And look at some of the ways that it's benefited him as a sales professional. My guy's a 40 under 40, recognized by one of the leaders in Pro AV influence. He's hosted content and made major authentic inroads with players like Avixa. I mean, it doesn't really get more industry acclaimed than Avixa in the AV industry. And so, again, these are things that are a result of an authentic commitment to his industry, and that commitment translating through content. So if you are out there putting yourself, in front of your communities through content, you might see the same kind of wins here that our own team is seeing in the industry.
100%.
All right, let's jump over to lead generation here now, right? Obviously, if we're talking sales, you want to see the numbers, right? How is this going to actually turn into lead gens for me as the sales professional or my team as a sales manager or leader, right? What we've seen is that content creation can create strategic ins, right? With prospects, with industry leaders, and other important decision makers in the sales pipeline. In a lot of ways, content draws leads to you naturally through consistent engagement with your communities. It almost reverses the funnel in a way that makes your life a lot easier. Hunter, tell us a little bit about that, since you're more directly in the sales ecosystem.
Yeah, I love that we started with brand recognition and then coming into lead gen, because there's no smoother route from that. When you are recognized as a brand, so let's say David Kemp with his Highway to Health podcast, or Ben Thomas with Pro AV Today, when you are recognized by that and you are out there creating content, people are seeing your content every single day, it becomes recognizable to the fact that, maybe I do need to speak to them about what they're doing in that industry. How can I do the same as what they are doing as well? It makes it a super, super, super easy way to generate leads, because people are seeing your face every day. They're seeing what you're talking about. And not to mention, it always also brings on that sense of reliability. When you are the one in front of their face on LinkedIn, talking about the industry and your expertise, they see you as an expert. They see you as somebody, as a thought leader within the industry. And it brings them to the feeling of knowing that they need to reach out, knowing that they need to talk to you about something. I know I actually heard from David Kemp not too long ago. He was saying that he was at a show out in San Francisco, and almost every corner he turned, people would say, "Hey, you're the guy from Highway to Health. You're the guy who did a podcast at Billy Bob's."
Awesome.
And so it makes that, it really does make it an easy way to create a list of leads, create or generate leads that can come into your top of funnel.
Totally agree, man. Because again, what you want is to make the sales journey be more reflective of the authentic relationships that you're building in your community already. And when we think about the way content and the nurture experience sort of interact, what's really cool about taking advantage of MarketScale Studio for your content creation is that the content itself becomes the nurture, but then the nurture itself, the act of wanting to sort of make sure that that lead is feeling that you are actually kind of committed to this relationship you're building, the nurture itself can become the content, right? And so think about it this way. If you bring on someone who you've got as a lead in your ecosystem, and you want to elevate that a little bit, you want to really communicate that you've got the right intentions, you're building the right relationship with this decision maker, that nurture process can just turn into content. Invite them onto your podcast. Say, hey, you know what? Before we even continue talking about a partnership, I just want to hear your thoughts on this issue that's impacting the industry, because I feel like your expertise would be huge here. Let's just put some time on the calendar, do a podcast. I'd love to get you published on this. And we can talk about sales later. I just want to hear what you have to say about this. Think about the ways that just communicates you actually care about the insights of this professional, the work they're doing in their industry. And by almost saying, let's put the content before the nurture, the nurture becomes the content becomes the nurture, you expand that relationship, right? And I think that's really powerful.
What a great point, Daniel. Sorry for interrupting. And I see we have a question kind of around this as well that I'd love to target. Jeff asked, can I get my prospects involved in content? And you label it out perfectly there. Yes, yes, and yes. You want to engage those communities. Your prospects is a community of yours, no matter what, whether it's people that are very engaged to people that maybe you haven't spoken to in a little bit. You can engage those communities now using MarketScale Studio by decentralizing that content and also engaging them in the way where they're on the content. So you can send out a request for a soundbite from them. You also can have them on your podcast. A great nurture I like to think of as well, using the request feature, Daniel, is, maybe you guys haven't talked in a while. Maybe you're trying to see what they're looking into. You can send a request as a question. And it's way, way more engaging than just an email with a question on it. You could say something like, hey, I know we haven't talked in a while. I'd love to get thoughts on your new products and everything going on. See what you guys have in store. You get that back from them, and that's an engagement right there. You're able to create that two-way system where you guys are talking back and forth now. And that long lost prospect is no longer long and no longer lost.
Yep. And I'm glad you're bringing up the specific features, because as we talk about content creation, I think more and more people understand the value of content and how it can lead from the front for sales teams, marketing teams, HR, internal comms, whatever. But the weight is, how do we even create this content? How do we get past the initial hurdle of aligning resources, recording, editing, producing, publishing the content? That is what MarketScale Studio is here to do for you. It is the full Batman tool belt of easy content creation tools and editing and production ecosystems and collaborative feedback hubs and platforms that make content creation in B2B easy. I've got another example here. Studio Mail is one of the features in Studio, which essentially takes the content creation ease of, whether it's on your webcam or whipping out your phone in little selfie mode, recording a thought, turning that into a nice polished email that sends out to whoever you want to receive that email. They can open it up, watch the video with no issue, right? That's great, because think about how casual that is. Cold emails, no one likes to read them. They delete them. Maybe takes 3 to 4 pings on that same chain before someone gets back to you. But imagine if you send over a personalized studio mail with the same thoughts and the same goal, but it's got your face on it. It's got 90 seconds of you actually speaking to that person and communicating. You took time out of your day to sit down and have basically a virtual conversation with whoever you're trying to nurture, a lead or a thought leader or otherwise. MarketScale makes it easy to do that, right? MarketScale Studio makes it so that content creation can be quick, ephemeral, and personable, like a Snapchat video or like a tweet or something, right? It's powerful.
I love this example when it comes to sales teams, and I see it used in such creative ways where it makes those nurtures so much more engaging. I love to use this example of, and I have to say it again, it was David Kemp. I might have to start paying to use his name here soon because I'm using it too much. But he was talking to a prospect about a year ago, and every single November, he has the No Shave November mustache going. And so he used Studio in his advantage in such a creative way, because when he last talked to the prospect, they said, call us back when you have the mustache again next November. And so November this year in 2023, or I guess last year, rolled around, and he starts walking around the office, and I see him getting ready for it. All he does is pull out his phone, click Studio Mail, and you'll see here, I have it pulled up on the screen. All he had to click was record, and he recorded him with the mustache saying, hey, it's November, it's time to talk. He sent that off. That makes the best and easiest, most engaging nurture I've probably ever seen, to the point where, it created a great conversation out of that. If not a sale, at least it was a great conversation. And then it started all with this nice and easy Studio Mail that probably took him 2 minutes to create.
Yep, exactly. And so other than Studio Mail, MarketScale Studio lets you self-record on phone or webcam, lets you, upload content simply and put it in front of our larger editing ecosystem and team that's going to polish up and produce high quality but streamlined content. There's room for proofing and collaboration within each video. You can host podcast conversations on MarketScale. You can build out your own courses, like your own masterclass on MarketScale Studio. So again, it's a full Batman tool belt, and some of these things that might seem intimidating or disparate in that you've typically had to use 3 to 4 other platforms to get close to this level of efficiency. Now we're all under one hub that understands and prioritizes the challenges and opportunities that are nascent in B2B content creation. So pretty powerful stuff there. Let's talk trade shows, Hunter. This is a big one.
Yeah, right? Let's do it.
When I think of one of the best utilities for MarketScale Studio, whether it's a sales team or otherwise, but definitely for sales teams, it's how you can use MarketScale Studio at a trade show to elevate and change and flip upside down your whole strategy for networking, generating leads, and building your brand. So, Hunter, what are we seeing here right now? I actually filmed this one.
I was going to say, this is
'Hunter, looks like we may have lost your audio. I wasn't sure if it was me or not, but
Are you able to hear me now?
Yep, now I can. Yeah, not sure why that happened. I was kind of waiting to see because I didn't just want to interrupt you. But yeah, we kind of lost most of your audio there. If you want to give that another run.
Well, sorry about that. Well, hey, what I was saying is that this video you see here up on the screen, this was at Distribute Tech not too long ago. This was actually a Daniel Litwin special as he went out to Distribute Tech to show exactly how sales teams can utilize MarketScale Studio. One of my favorite ways and how I see it being such a huge benefit for these sales teams is by getting it out there, getting the booth out there and the name out there. On that first day, the sales team is talking to so many people. You guys are going over your scripts. You guys are talking about everything going on. Just as you see here, you see a 3D model being shown off. And so you do this throughout the entire day. Why not take 5 minutes, create a short snippet of exactly what you're talking to everybody else about on MarketScale Studio. You'll get it fully edited and branded back before the next day of the trade show. You post that out on your LinkedIn and say, hey, check us out at Distribute Tech at booth 319. I can't wait to see you guys all there. That makes for the best way to bring leads in, get people knowing that you are there, especially if you're using hashtags, you're getting, your SEO optimized, depending on the show and the dates and everything. As soon as you get that out there, everybody will be able to see it. And then they'll recognize you. They'll walk by you in the next day at the trade show. It'll be the second day and be like, hey, I saw you guys on LinkedIn. I saw the booth. You guys, I'm interested in what you guys are talking about. That makes it a whole world of difference, Daniel.
Couldn't agree more, man. Trade shows are not dead. After a lot of COVID talk that, okay, we're going to kill the trade show, or trade shows are going to go hybrid now and everyone's going to join remotely. I think we're seeing the opposite. I think if anything, COVID re-cemented the fact that people need a little social love. They feel like they're a part of their physical communities, and they want these opportunities to get out there, put some boots on the ground, and really talk shop with their partners, right? Trade shows are the epicenter of B2B communities. They're constantly evolving to be more digital friendly, obviously, but they're also experience oriented. And what a better experience, right, than creating content, than offering content. So, when we think about ways that content plays a role at trade shows for a sales team, again, it turns networking into content that's beneficial for all parties, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's not all about the sale. Sometimes it's about communicating that what's important to your communities. And that brings the sales to you. And it makes those conversations you have with the folks who you've prioritized for content and thought leadership a much simpler and more authentic nurture to, be invested in the types of ways you could partner with them and bring them benefits to their day to day, right? What better way to do this than through content creation that platforms the voices of your community, right? Yeah. Think about what I did here. Obviously, I'm a publisher. I work in a publishing side of MarketScale, but your brand, your company's brand can be an editorial one, a publishing one. Your blog can be more than just a trends blog. It can be actual thought leadership. It can be actual synthesis and analysis from voices in your community. Think about the power that comes from you going out there and being your own publisher, interviewing prospects or thought leaders, getting their thoughts on camera, getting it quickly edited and recorded through MarketScale Studio, and then published out on your channels, on your social media or otherwise. What a great way to build trust, right?
Yeah. You know what, Daniel? I can promise you, if you get a prospect on an interview, you get them on a soundbite when they're at your booth, they're not forgetting that. There is no way they leave that trade show and they forget about the video that they created at ABB in this way, or your booth in general. If you're a sales guy, you want to engage your prospects. You want to engage your communities in any different way that you can. And this is a way to do it where they will not only not forget who you are, but they'll remember what you do for sure, especially if you have them on talking about what's going on at the trade show, whether it be a soundbite. You could just pull out your phone and get a soundbite with some of your prospects, just asking them what they're feeling for the show. Maybe say it's going to be a promo for your booth. And you want to bring people in. It makes it, that much more engaging when they can be a part of it as well, and really gives you that leverage. When a week later you're giving them a call and you're saying, "Hey, do you remember us?" They're going to remember you for sure.
Totally agree. And again, like obviously the example we're showing here is us going to another booth and sort of initiating the content creation process, but again, what Hunter's saying here is think about the ways that you could turn your booth into a media hub. Think about all of the investment that goes into setting up your booth and making it, pleasant or attractive for people to come and come to you and want to learn about your products. Usually that's big screens. Usually that's hands-on demos of your products. Sometimes now that's even speaking events. I'm seeing a lot more of that, right? Folks hosting sort of their own TED Talks for their company at their booth. But what if you said not? Let's flip that upside down. Let's make our booth a hub to platform the thought leadership of other people in our industry, bring them to the table, give them a chance to communicate their insights, and inject some questions in there that still put your brand forward, that still get them talking about some of the services or solutions or the role you play with your team and your company and your industry. What a powerful way to communicate that you are here to serve your industry. They get great content out of it. You get great content out of it. And now you've built an authentic connection with that individual and that company. And all of that made possible by the ease of recording, the ease of editing, and the ease of publishing that comes through using MarketScale Studio. Again, I just cannot emphasize that enough about just how simple it is for me to go out there and record 20 sound bites, for example, and then come home, upload them all, that night even on hotel Wi-Fi, and get them quickly edited by our editing ecosystem, polished, ready to go for you to deliver next day. I mean, that's powerful. That's really powerful. And, I think sales teams would be remiss to not adapt their strategies and get more creative with this kind of content forward approach.
Yeah. And Daniel, not only can you engage your prospects and people coming to the booth, but you can engage your own internal community for sure. Exactly. The people at the booth, you have a whole sales team at your booth working every day. Let's say they have a free second, getting them on camera, getting them, getting their voices heard, because, they're talking about the product all day long. They know what they're looking for. They know exactly I guess you could say what to say in a way because they're the experts when it comes to it. And so getting them on camera engages your own internal team, and now you're using them in more ways than one, for sure.
Totally. All right, Hunter, I feel like we're approaching the end of the conversation here, so I just want to hit on a few other points and get your thoughts here. We won't go as in-depth on these, but just at a high level, some other ways that sales teams can think about using a toolkit of content creation tools, right, that make it streamlined and easy. Think about the ways that Studio can connect the sales team with other company initiatives, right? MarketScale Studio is designed from the ground up to understand the nuances and the necessity of collaboration internally to a company, especially in B2B, where the marketing team sometimes is the sales team sometimes is the marketing team, sometimes the IT team is the HR team. I mean, sometimes, who knows? Sometimes you're working with limited resources. Sometimes you are a Fortune 100 company. And regardless, there are so many moving pieces that you individually or you in the context of a team of 1,000 need to be privy to and you need to participate in. Studio as a content creation hub not only makes internal comms simpler, you can literally use it as an internal hub for communications, but it makes it through little things like tagging features to sort of hashtag a video and then make it very easy to then search for that tag across the entire company's platform hub, right? Organization in Studio. Or whether it's, little privacy features here to make sure that this team can only see this or this team can only see that, but these two teams can cross collaborate on these, subtopics or videos or projects. All of this has project management and collaboration in mind that puts sales into the mix and not siloed. There's a lot of times where sales is running and gunning. They've got their mission. You've got your quotas. You've got revenue to generate for the company. But it can be easy to get lost in that sauce. And sometimes the sales team is needed internally to collaborate, share knowledge, and communicate and translate out internal workings, right? New products, new marketing initiatives that you as a salesperson can be the voice and face of, the forefront of. And that is made much easier through the collaboration capabilities inherent to MarketScale Studio. So just think about that, right? Think about those connections. It's pretty powerful. And Hunter, I'll leave you with this last one. Tell us a little bit about sales training, right? Studio as a content hub and platform is also very useful for simulating the sales pipeline and training new hires and getting them more in that content mindset too. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts there and how it might be useful for sales training.
100%. I use it myself for sales training because it is the best form of being able to train at a scalable way, especially if you're a Fortune 100, Fortune 500 company, a larger company that brings in new hires, new sales teams on a frequent basis. You want them to come in and be able to be trained at a scalable way. That's also a good look on the brand, good look on exactly what you're kind of looking at. But when it comes to sales training, you can go into MarketScale Studio and record pitches. You can record different scenarios, whether it's just your questions that you have, or you want to touch on different things. You could create a whole learning course in MarketScale Studio. And it's as easy as coming in here, and I'll actually pull it up really quickly. I know we're coming up on time, but you create a course in Course Builder, and it could look something like Jesse Cole's course here. When it comes to fans first, you can have full role plays. You can have full training on different systems that you use, especially if you're using different CRMs. It gets complicated. You could use MarketScale Studio to train everybody on how to do it. Get it fully edited and branded towards your company so that it looks all polished and nice for the new hires. And you can use that at a scalable way.
Couldn't agree more, man. Yeah. And I think with that, we'll go ahead and call it. So again, folks, hopefully this was useful for y'all and gave you a better idea of how MarketScale Studio can go beyond the marketing team, go beyond some of the obvious content creation needs that any company has, and can embed itself as a powerful tool for your sales team to not only, again, make the already existing strategies you have that much more effective, but get you thinking more creative and flip some of your sales strategies upside down and start to write your own new rules for how sales are conducted, how leads are generated, and how communities are engaged with and relationships are built using seamless and scalable content creation. So all that to say is we're here to help guide you through this too. If you have any questions, you let us know. Reach out to Hunter, reach out to myself. We can put you in touch with the right people and help you get a better grasp for how can I make MarketScale Studio a useful tool for my sales team. Boom. All right. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you again, everyone. It's been a pleasure getting to chat with my co-conspirator here, Mr. Hunter. And it's been a pleasure getting to, again, share some of the ways that MarketScale Studio can be very powerful for your sales team. So, again, we'll be chatting with you soon. We're going to be going live again here. I'm not sure exactly when, but hey, you can go to marketscale.com, head to our live page to see when we've got some fresh training webinars here on the benefits Studio can bring to your B2B company. And catch me live on some of my experts talk roundtables too, if you want to see me cutting it up with some pros in the industry. All right, everyone, we'll be in touch. Thank you again.